Okay, we are going to try to finish up this lesson 5 in the Modern Hebrew Routledge program. And I was looking over the video I did last time, and I noticed that I missed this little thing here. She'elah, question. We have Lama. Why does who is this and not who me zot? In other words, me zeh below me zot. Why does that? Why does it say that way? Because it says down here, I think we did cover it, but I just missed this part for some reason. But it says here, when inquiring about a person's identity, you use me Ela or Elu, me Zot or Zeh, or me Zeh in accordance with the number and gender of the persons in question. Read the following examples. Okay, so let's see. When inquiring about an object's identity, the object is always ma Zeh. You cannot assume the gender of an unfamiliar object. When answering, you may use Zeh, Zot, or Ela, depending on the number and gender of the object. Okay, ma Zeh. Okay, I think we did cover this part here, but this here, why me Zeh and not me Zot? Because if you don't know, if someone's on the other side of a door and they don't know whether you're a male or a woman and knocking on the door, then the default is me Zeh, who is this? Okay, that's essentially what we missed there. Okay, so now we're going to finish up Targil 3 and Targil 4. Okay, Targil 3 and 4. So exercise 3 and 4. So what we need, I think what we should do is go over vocabulary quickly here. So we've got aliyad, by, next to. We have mekonit for car, na'im me'od for nice to meet you, or literally, it's very pleasant to meet you. And down here, we need Targil 3 and 4. Okay, so we have exercise. Shana misaker lenechva. In other words, this says Shana. I think this is masculine and feminine. To feminine. In other words, it's probably Shana mizacher lenikva. Okay, Shana mezachar lenikva. See, okay, so change to male to female.
Shana lezachar lenekeva.
Okay, so Shana lezachar lenechava.
Shana lezachar lenekeva.
Shanar lezachar. So we know that zachar is masculine, remember? This is the masculine part, and this part is the from masculine, and then the lamed preposition is 2 or 4. In this case, it's 2. and then the nichva part of it is female. So, and then shana, change. Shana, change to male, to female. Okay, get this hearing aid straightened out. All right, so we have Shmi Dan. Who is Dan? Okay, so they want us to change this from male to female. Or no, my name is Dan, rather. My name is Dan. So that means we need to come up with a female alternative to this. So Shmi's it's gonna be the same thing for Shmi, for female, I believe. Shmi, and let's see, my name, because remember in the first person, it's the same. It's the same in the first person, so. I guess it doesn't really matter what we put there. We could put root probably. And let's just see what the answer says. Okay. Okay, Shmi root. My name is root. And so it's the same that way. Let's check our answer thing out here. Okay, yeah, they're just putting a name in there. It's just, you know, you pick one out of a list of they've got Shmi Rachel. Okay. Okay, so the next one we have is Ata student. Are you a student? So we're going to have to change this to female to where it says at studentit, studentit. And spelling that out is going to be but I'm certain it's going to be at studentit, or are you a student? Let's take a look at it. Yep, there it is. Ata student, question, answer at studentit. Okay. Okay, this one here, who Talmid Babayit Sefer. He is a pupil in the school. So Babayit Sefer is like a school. Literally, it says in the house of books. You would think that that would be a library, but it's not. It's not a library. Because, you know, at first I thought, well, house of books is like a library, but no, this is a word for school, Babayit Sefer. So in this case, it would be he. You would change that to he. And it would be he Talmida Babayit Sefer. So let's see if that's correct. There it is right there. He Talmida Babayit Sefer. Okay, in other words, on this side here, it's one gender, and then you have to transform it into the opposite gender, the whole sentence, okay? So that's what's going on here. Okay, and then number 30, we have Shemo Ori Oron. Okay, so his name is Ori Oron. Shemo Ori Oron. So this word right here, O, it means or in Hebrew. Okay, so so we have to change this to, is her name, let's say Ruth or Rachel. So instead of Shemo, we would have Shema, because the ending is female. And so what we have here is Shemo, Ori, Oron, and here's Shema. There it is. And they've chosen Anet or Inet. So those are both girl names. So it goes from his name to her name. And so her name is Shin Mem He. Okay, so now we've got number 5, we've got Anaknu Morim. We are teachers, Babayit Sefer, in the school. We are teachers in the school. And I think the only thing that might change here, I'm not sure if that's going to stay the same Morim, but it might be Morot. Because if it's all about Anaknu is the same, Anaknu, because in the plural, that's first person. So in the first person, there's no difference between masculine or feminine, just like ani is the same for whether it's masculine or feminine. So it would be Anaknu, and it might be Morot, possibly, Babayit Sefer. Well, let's take a look at it. Okay, so where are we at here? Anaknu Morim Babayit Sefer. Yeah, Anaknu Morot. There it is. So the only thing that really changed here is this ending here, which is a feminine ending. Okay, over here, the im ending is masculine typically. Okay. So we're changing genders in this exercise. Okay, so now let's see what we got here. We've got Gam Hem Morim. Also, are they teachers? And notice the im ending. So that means this is masculine. So we need to change. We're going to change this one, and we're going to change this one. Okay, so this Gam means also, and this Hem means they, but it's masculine plural. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this Hem to a hen with a nun sofit, an M sound, nun sofit. So like it'll be like this. I'll write this one just to give you an idea. So Gam, that means also, and it will change like this, and it'll be like a nun sofit, hen. So that means they, feminine plural. Okay. And then this morim is in the masculine sense, so we need to change that to morot. Okay, so gam, hen, morot. Let's see what we have on our answers. Okay, so here's gam, hem, morim, gam, hem, morim, gam, hen, morot. You see that there? So that's all when you're changing from gender, sometimes there's just one word in a sentence, sometimes there's two, sometimes there's three of the words that need to switch so that the genders match. And that's one of the more difficult things about Hebrew, because say like in English, you know, if you say a girl ran to the bus, boy ran to the bus, you're still using R-A-N, ran. A bunch of kids ran to the bus, still using R-A-N. A doggy ran to the bus, still using R-A-N. Not so with Hebrew. Not so. The ran word in Hebrew will change to match the object. Okay. So that's just part of the process. All right. Okay, number 7. We have Zeh Abba Shali. In other words, this says this father to me. So it's like, is this my father? And this is like a question. This is my father. Probably not a question. I mean, who would say, is this my father? Unless they're adopted and, I don't know. But it's probably like, this is my father. This is my father. Okay, so so probably what we're going to do to make that be feminine is we might, let's see here. Let's see, I think that's an aleph that goes in there. Zot, and then Ima. Now let's see, Ima, oops, get that right. Okay, so Ima. Okay, Zot, Ima, and it's still going to be Shali, to me. Because remember, in the first person, this actually is like possessive ani, which possessive I, to me. Okay. So it's going to be Zot, Ima, Shali. I think that's right. Let's find out if it's right or not. Okay, so down here we've got Zeh Abba Shali. This is my father. Zot Ima Shali. See that? Shali stays the same because it's still part of ani. In other words, me or I, it's in the first person. Remember, there's no difference in gender. It's gonna in the first person, either anaknu for we or ani in the first person does not change in its spelling or pronunciation on gender. It's only when you get in the second person and third person. Okay. Okay, so now we've got ata studentim beuniversitat. This looks like a beuniversitat Tel Aviv. Okay, so atem studentim beuniversitat Tel Aviv. Okay, so studentim is going to change. Atem is going to change. Beuniversitat will not change. Tel Aviv will not change. Okay, so so basically it's you all are students. So atem is like you all, masculine plural. You all are students. Studentim is students. Beuniversitat, in the university. Tel Aviv is like the name of an Israeli city, Tel Aviv. Okay. So what we're going to change this to is a 10. You all, feminine plural. And so what that's going to look like is you'll have an aleph, and then you'll have a tav, and then you'll have a nun sofit, a 10. Okay, which means you all, but it's feminine plural. There's no men in there. It's all women. And then studentim is going to be I think it's probably studentiot. I'm not going to try to write that out, but that's also what's going to change, because we have to, the students now, if you're saying you all, the students have to be in the form of the feminine gender. Okay, so in Hebrew. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so atem studentim, you all are students beuniversitat Tel Aviv, in the University of Tel Aviv. And here it is, aten studentiot. There it is. See that? So this ot ending is typically and generally the feminine plural form that it transitions into if this changes to aten from atem. And then beuniversitat Tel Aviv stays the same. Okay, none of that changes. All right, so that is Targil 3. So we knocked that one down pretty quickly. All right, so now let's go to Targil 4. Okay, so exercise 4, Targil, exercise. So in this one we have Hashalem, where, let's see, the questions and the, let's see. Hashalem. Okay, yeah, complete, that's right.
Hashalem. Hashalem.
Hashalem, Hashalem. Okay, so complete et is not translatable. Hashalot, which would be like the questions, vahatashuvot, and the answers. Okay, hashalot, vahatashuvot, and so complete hashalem, complete. Et is just it's just to mark. In this case, it's not translatable. What it does is it's like a grammar tool to mark the object of what the action. In other words, you know, that the verb, whatever the object is that's receiving the action, that's what the et. It's actually et. It's pronounced et, but that's not translatable in this sentence. So hashalot, the questions, vahatashuvot, right there. Okay, number 1. So what are they doing here? So they're going to give us a question here, and then we need to answer this, and it's giving us just a little bit of a clue here over here. So, so this is a question. Ata student, are you a student? So ata is you, masculine singular. Student, it'd be a masculine singular form of student. Because remember, these have to match. So are you a student? Ata student. And so to answer this, you could say, Ken ani, I am a, we could put the student in there. In this case, you don't see the dot, but actually it's a shuruk. That's how we get the oo sound here. Dalet, a noon. Okay, student. Okay, so Ken, ani student. Yes, Ken, yes, I am a student. Let's see what our answer says, okay? Okay, yep, there it is, right here. Ken, ani student. Okay. All right. All right, so let's look at number 2. Answer is gam he studentit. Gam means also. Also, he, remember, he in Hebrew means she in English. He equals she. So gam she studentit. Studentit. In other words, this is in the feminine form of student, studentit. So also, is she a student? And so the answer is going to be Ken, and we're going to say she. We're going to keep it in the same second person, okay? Okay, so Ken, he, which is Ken, yes, she is studentit. I don't think I'm going to write all that out, but it's going to stay studentit, I believe. So let's take a look at it. Oh, it looks like they decided to put gam there. Can gam he studentit. So also she is a student. Really, I think that's kind of overkill there. You really wouldn't see that because you're already using also in the question. But I don't know. They're just trying to be thorough. What I want to do is get rid of this one here. We're jumping over this one. Okay, so now we have the who and he. This is like it's continuing this conversation, and he. And so the answer is actually they're not giving us any clue here, so we could put low, who, and remember we have to put low again, low, who, low, student, and we have to keep it in the in this form right here, remember, because this is the student has to be masculine singular. So now this might not be the answer they have, but I'm just putting it here because they're not giving us a yes or no on here. So they're just leaving it up to the student to just put something in here. As long as it's grammatically correct, it'll be okay. Student. Okay. So I have low, who, low, student. No, he's not a student. Well, let's see what they choose to put there. Okay, so the who and he, gone, he, student. Okay, so they decide to answer this as also he's a student. Okay, but that's not necessarily every answer that could go in there because they don't give us either can or low. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Keep flipping too many times here. All right, so number 3, we have Geberet Zahavi, student teat. Is Mrs. Zahavi a student? Is Mrs. Zahavi a student? Well, she's not a student. She's just Mrs. Zahavi. She's a, I think she's a teacher. And so we could put, let's see here. Low, and they give us this one here, he, low, she, and we're going to put Mora. If I can remember how to spell it. Let's see here. Let's see, more. I don't know if I can't remember if there's an aleph in there and then a hey, there might be. Lo, he, more, or mora, rather, mora, because it's feminine. Okay, let's see what they put on their answer. Okay, so Geberet Zahavi studentit is Mrs. Zahavi a student? Lo, he, mora. No, there's not an aleph in there. It's just mem, holem, resh, hey. It looks like a vav. But if you had the pointing, it would have a little dot on top. That's why I call it holem, because it takes the form of a vowel when it functions as a vowel. In other words, it takes the name, the letter takes the name of a vowel. So you don't call that vav in this case because it's not functioning as a consonant. I like to elaborate a lot on this because this trips students up a lot. This vav character thing, it can mess you up if you don't really study all the functions of vav. Okay, so now we have, look at this. Now they want us to invent the question and they give us the answer. Okay, so can ani studentit, okay, can I'm a studentit pa università. In the university. Okay, so yes, I am a student in the university. So what we need to ask is, let's see, are you a student? And so we need to say this in, notice this is the clue right here, studentit. Okay, studentit tells us this is going to be feminine singular. So the question has to be phrased and written out and spelled out in feminine singular. So what we're going to do is we're going to put, we're just going to start with ot. Okay, because ot is the feminine singular form of you. Now, don't get this confused with this up here. This is et. This is a direction marker. It's not pronounced, but ot is spelled the same way. You just have to know that this one is ot, and it means you, feminine singular. And then we're going to use studentit. So we're just going to say ot studentit. And so we'll use a samech, and we'll put our tet there. This would be like a shurik in this case. Dalit, noon, tet, yod, tav. Okay, ot studentit, are you a student? Now we could say be'universita. We could write that all the way out. I don't know how they're going to phrase this question. Are they going to go that far? Because you could just say, are you a student? And the person answering could offer extra information and just say, Ken ani studentit be'universita. Yes, I'm a student, a female student. Notice it's tit, not student, as in masculine. It's studentit. That means it's feminine singular, be'universita, in the university. Okay, so let's see what they write. Okay, so here is the question we had. Ken ani studentit be'universita, and the answer looks like they did write it all out. Be'universita. So what they have is ot studentit. Are you a student in the university? That's what that's saying. And notice you, by this, we know that it's feminine singular. So it's a girl that's being spoken to. Okay, a female. All right, I think we're doing pretty good on these guys. Oh, I just need one click to get there. All right, number 5. Here's the question. The question, and they give us the answer. Hatushubot. So the answer is Ken Universitat Haifa b'Yisrael. Okay, so it's Ken is yes. University of Haifa in Israel. So I could in the answer part, you could say let's see, it's using Ken Universitat Haifa b'Yisrael. So it's not telling us necessarily whether this is a girl or a boy, female or male, because Universitat Haifa b'Yisrael, that's just how it's always spelled when it's paired with the location. Okay, so I think we could say, just assume that this is going to be a masculine singular. And the question would be, let's say, are you in university? Where? And I think IFO is where, but so we would say, we could say like ata and we would use be'universita. Be'universita. I'm not going to write out that whole universita. Be'universita, ata be'universita va, and then we might say ifo. I think ifo is for where. Ifo. Ifo. Maybe it's afo. 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 Oy vey. That's not that. Get the one for where. Yeah, there it is. AFO.
AFO.
Yeah, AFO. I don't know why it wouldn't write it out for me.
AFO.
Okay, so to write out AFO, it would be got the Università in here. That's the long one. And then and where we would say va, like and use a that there, fe, and then this you wouldn't see the dot up here, the whole M, but in modern Hebrew, but you would just have to know that that's an O sound. And then hey, afo, but afo. So that would be kind of like the question, and the answer would be Ken Universitat Haifa B'Yisrael. Yes, that would answer the first part. Ata b'università, are you in the university? Va, afo, and where? And then he would just answer Ken Universitat Haifa B'Yisrael. Haifa in Israel, but Yisrael is in Israel right there. Okay, so let's see what they come up with for their question. Okay, let's see here. Oh, look at this. Universitat Haifa B'Yisrael. I would have never guessed that's what the question would be. Universitat Haifa B'Yisrael, and the answer is Ken Universitat Haifa B'Yisrael. I don't know why this seems like overkill here, because somebody could just answer Ken. I'd say yes, if they're phrasing the question that specifically. All right, let's see here. Let's see what we got here now. Number 6, we got to come up with a question now. And the answer to Shavuot is Lo Tel Aviv B'Yisrael. No, Tel Aviv Tel Aviv in Israel. Lo, that means no. Tel Aviv's the name of the city, B'Yisrael in Israel. So we have to come up with a question that makes sense, so that if somebody were answering no, Tel Aviv in Israel, then you know, it's going to make sense. It kind of has to match up. So we could say, we could just say something like Ata student be'Universitat Haifa. In other words, are you a student in the University of Haifa? And the answer could be Lo Tel Aviv B'Yisrael. No, Tel Aviv in Israel. Okay. Or probably we could ask something like Ata student. Are you a student? We could say like, but New York, in New York. Are you a student in New York? Like, I don't know what universities are in there. Maybe I'd have to look them up, but like some kind of a university in New York. And then the answer would be no, Tel Aviv B'Yisrael. No, in Tel Aviv in Israel. Let's just see what they come up with for the answer, because there's a lot of wiggle room here. Okay, so let's see here. So what they do is this is Lo Tel Aviv B'Yisrael. No, Tel Aviv, and they're saying Tel Aviv. Let's see here. Look at this. Tel Aviv, but Argentina? Is Tel Aviv in Argentina? Look at that. So that's, I would have never guessed that. Because there's a lot of questions that could match this and still pretty much make sense. But in their answer, they got is Tel Aviv, Argentina, and they're saying Lo Tel Aviv, Israel. By the way, that Argentina is a transliteration. And in modern Hebrew, you're going to see a lot of transliteration. For example, the word Michigan, one of the states, it literally sounds like Michigan. It gets as close as it can just with Hebrew letters, that's all. That's a transliteration. All right, so let's see, number 7. We've got Ata Yisrael, are you in Israel? And see, if I were to answer this myself, I would say lo. Actually, I was spelling lo wrong the whole time. I was putting this like this. That's not right. It's lo with an aleph, okay, guys? Because there would be a holem there if you had pointing. But I forgot to put the aleph. Okay, normally you wouldn't have any pointing. You would see this dot up here, lo. So lo, so just disregard that when I answer something. No, it's not spelled like this. My spelling could improve in Hebrew. I just barely get English spelling these days. But it's lamed aleph for lo equals no. All right, so lo. Let's see, what's my question again? Ata Yisrael, are you from Israel? Let's see, lo ani Metexas, like from Texas. So we could just put lo in there, ani Metexas, from Texas. That's another transliteration, Texas. And I think that's probably all we need to put in there. Okay, oh, look at this. They're writing out the whole thing, but it's kind of redundant. Lo ani lo Yisrael. Lo, no, I'm not. Oh, no, lo ani lo Yisrael. No, I'm not from Israel. Ani Texas. I'm from Texas. Okay. I just left it there low. It seems to say the same thing, but they're putting more in there. All right. All right. We've got another one. We have to come up with a question, and the answer is Mitsuyan, Yisrael, Yerushalayim. Excellent. Israel is in Jerusalem. Okay, so this is Mitsuyan. This is like excellent. Israel, by Yerushalayim. Okay, so excellent. Israel is in Jerusalem. Let's see, what kind of a question would match that? Mitsuyan. Wait a minute here. I think I got Mitsuyan wrong. That's not Mitsuyan. It looks kind of like it. It's something else. That might be museum. Well, let me check it out and see. Muse. We got a mem. Okay, aleph. Yeah, a museum.
Museon. Museon.
Museon.
Museon.
Museon.
Museon.
Museon. Okay, museon. Okay, that's not Misuyan. It looks spells is almost similar to that. It's museon. So it's like a museum. Okay, museum. Okay, a museum. Museon, Israel in Jerusalem, a museum and Israel in Jerusalem. Okay, gosh, there's a lot of questions that could fit that. Let's see here. We could say, where did you go? Like Apho, Ata. We could say like to say like travel is like let's see, that's Nasua, I think. Nasua. No, it's okay, we get in Hebrew. Yeah, Linsoa.
Linsoa.
Okay, so like Apho, Ata, Linsoa. Where did you travel? You could say a museum, Yisrael, Yerushalayim. So there's a lot of options that could go there. Let's see what they decide to put in there. Okay, so they say, wow, look at this. We guessed it pretty close. We got the Apho, Museon, I think is how you pronounce that. Museon, Yisrael. Where in the museum in Israel? And then the answer is Museum Yisrael Yerushalayim. Okay, so in Jerusalem. All right, well, we got this one here. Number 9, we're getting to the end here. The answer is lo ze shior. No, this lesson. Bayol Oka. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, biology. Biologia. That's what that is. Biologia. No, so it's like lo ze shior biologia. So no, this lesson is biology. So we could say ze shior oh, that's too much of a cut a little bit of that off. It needs to be a vav. It's more a whole M actually, but it's the form of a vav. Shior, Zeshior. This lesson, ba, and we could say Ivrit for Hebrew, which I think is let's see, left, that, resh. I think that's how you spell Ivrit. Now, by Ivrit is this lesson in Hebrew, and of course this lesson isn't Hebrew, but in here it says lo ze shior biologia. Okay, so this lesson is in biology. Biologia. I'm almost certain that's biology. Okay, biologia. Yeah.
Biologia.
Oh, it's biologia, not j. Biologia. Okay, no, this lesson is biology. It's not in biology. It's this lesson is biology. That's what that's saying. And then shior, this lesson, I could say ba-ibrit like this. Zeshior ba-ibrit. this lesson in Hebrew? And the answer is lo. This lesson is biology. All right, let's see what they decide to come up with. So they've got, okay, so Zeh Shior, philosophy. This looks like let's see, philosophia. I think that's what that is, like philosophy. This lesson, philosophia, and of course the answer they already give us is lo zeshior biologia. This lesson is biology. All right, last one, guys. There we go. Okay, so now they're giving us the question, the shalot, the question here. And now they want us to give us the answer. Boy, these are a lot easier to do these than to try to do this reverse engineering stuff, isn't it? I find this tough, very tough, because it seems like there's so much variation. But when you got one of these, it's a lot easier because you know where to start. It's giving you the answers where to start. And you can answer reasonably a question more so than you can take an answer and then reverse engineer the question. All right, let's see what we got. We've got IFO, Universitat Ben Gurion. So then let's see, AFO. I think it's AFO. AFO, Universitat Ben Gurion. So it's like, where is the University of Ben Gurion? I don't know. That might be in Jerusalem. Let's see. I'll look it up here. Oh, it's in Beersheba, Israel. So we could put the University of Ben Gurion is in Beersheba. So we would put lo. I'll try to get lo spelled right this time. Lo. No. Let's see here. I'm not going to write out all that big Universitat Ben Gurion, but that's what goes there. Lo, Universitat Ben Gurion is in. You could say Beersheba, in Beersheba, Beersheba. Let's see what they. Okay, so they say Universitat Ben Gurion, Beersheba. So they just leave out the lo. Okay, so they leave that out. They just answer it more simply and say, they don't say no. They say, and that's right. That's correct, because I shouldn't have said no, because this is not it is a question. Where is Universitat Ben Gurion? And so it doesn't require a no. It's just a straight out answer. Universitat Ben Gurion, Beersheba. Beersheba. I think it's like Beersheba, how you pronounce it. Beersheba. Wow, that was a tough one. That was pretty tough to get through, especially these reverse ones. And that finishes up your 5. All right, guys. Any comments? I'll check the Facebook feed and see if there's anything down there. Yeah, we've been going 55 minutes. I think that's pretty good for today. Well, before we go, though, let's take a look at. Okay, let's take a look at some of these here and make sure we're getting all these right. Let's see here. We've got. Okay, this is the student one. Picture in picture. Let's take a look at this here. So this gives you the different forms of like student, teacher, and pupil.
סטודנט, סטודנטית, סטודנטים, סטודנטיות,
Okay.
מורה, מורה, מורים, מורות, תלמיד, תלמידה, תלמידים, תלמידות.
Okay, so what they're doing here is they're in this column here, you've got masculine singular. In this column here, you've got feminine singular. In this column here, you got masculine plural. And in this column here, you got feminine plural. Okay, so for example, for a pupil, it's just talmid, masculine singular. If it's a female singular pupil, it's talmidah. And then it's talmidim, so it's like a bunch of pupils, students. If there's a slight difference between talmid and student. One is more like talmid is more like in the religious sphere, and student is more like in the secular academic kind of thing. So a lot of times in religious literature, you would see talmid, like the disciples of Yeshua were talmidim. It was more than just a subject they were learning. They were following the very one who gives life. They were following the King of the universe, Yeshua Messiah. So then for teacher, it's the same thing. More for a man teacher, mora for a girl teacher, morim right here, which would be, really and honestly, it could be a group of teachers. Maybe there's some women in there too, but it defaults to masculine plural. But if it's all just women, no men at all, it's morot. And the same thing for student, masculine singular, studentit, female singular, studentim, all masculine or mixed, and then studentiot for all female students. Okay, just here. We got the AFO one.
מילים חדשות. איפה.
Yeah, AFO.
מילים חדשות. איפה.
Okay, so AFO is where, milim hadashot, new words. What's this here? I think we already did the shalom ka and all that stuff. We did this one, all yad. I think we're down here somewhere. Mi zeh. That's that little, discussion we did where the girl was knocking on the door. Mi zeh, who is this? And notice she's going tuk, 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 knocking on the door. And somebody inside the door says, Mi zeh, who is this? And she says, Zot Dorit, this is Dorothy. And the person on the other side of the door says, me? Who's this? And she says, Dorothy. See that there? So they include that little thing. I don't know why that's not really vocabulary, but oh well. That kind of gives me a chuckle every time. Here's milim hadazot. Lama, remember, means why. Okay. Ma ata lomed. Look at this one. This is a new one. I think we're going to start this one in chapter 6. Nishma. What's up, buddy? What's new? A lot of the younger kids, they say, hey, what's up? Actually, I still say, what's up, friends? Manishma, what's up? Try that out with some of your friends. Say, Manishma, David. What's up, David? They probably won't know what you're saying, but you can educate them on Hebrew. Oh, that means what's up? What's new? Okay. Manishma. Okay, so we got that one. What's this here? Jug. Okay, we'll leave that one for next time. Let's see what else we got here. I think we did the, oh, let's do the verbs. Let's check out the verbs. Okay, I think we did holek sometimes. Yada means to know. Get this up here. So we have Shem, Hapa'al, Hava. So I think that is, I looked that up one time before. The name of the verb. Shem, Hapa'al, Hava. Okay, so that's like the name of the verb. So that's the name of the verb. And then I think that's Hava. Hava. There we go. And so that's like, that's the state. It's like the state of the verb. In other words, it's like whether it's masculine singular, whether feminine singular, whether masculine plural, whether feminine plural. And so that's what all these verbs are set up as. So for example, the word for know, to know, I'll just play it here.
לדעת, יודע, יודעת, יודעים, יודעות.
Okay, so so this means to know. Now to know, lada'at right there. Now, if you were to say he knew, and I think the binyan is pa'ol, that means it's like they it's like in the present. I think it's the present, if I'm not mistaken here. But it's Yodea is like he knew. Yodaat is like she knew. Over here, Yodaim. It'd be like either they knew or we knew, but it's going to be masculine plural. And then over here, Yodaot, it would be like they knew or we knew, but it's all women. It's all females. Yodaot. So that's kind of how these verbs are set up. What about ketub? Did we do ketub yet? Let's see. That's liktov, I think. Kotev. That's to write. That's writing. All right. Let's not. We'll do a little more of those later. I think we got enough for today. All right, guys, just like in all of my things here, you can reach out to me if you, have been blessed by this video. Just think about going to www.paypal.com, and it'll ask you who are you sending money to. You can use a credit card. You don't even have to have PayPal. Send it to gsmith71.gs@gmail.com. You can email me at shul@hmisrael.com. You can text me 803-937-0148. Due to my hearing, it's better for texting than calling. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you're learning with this this material as much as this is refreshing a lot of my my knowledge too. Oh, let me get rid of that. And so I hope that this has been a blessing to you. And I will see you all later. And Lahitra Ot.